On this week's Waypoint, Kassadin and Kha'zix see nerfs, there's a new game mode on the way, and LeBlanc is really hard to balance. Duh! What's up guys, and welcome to Waypoint, your weekly League of Legends recap for May 14th, 2014. I'm your host, Lindsay Geektron. Patch 4.7 has hit live servers, although the man with the mustache, Braum, will be arriving at a later date. Fortunately, Kha'zix, who is also rocking a hipster stash, is making up for Braum's absence. Now that Riot have took away the devastating one-shot power of his barrel, they feel comfortable giving his Q and R some more utility. His Q will now grant vision, letting him check bushes and generally play safer, while his R is slightly more ranged, perhaps giving Kha'zix a greater pick potential when combined with his vision-granting Q. Jarvan IV hasn't seen much play this season, dropping off in favor of tanks in the top lane or high damage dealers in the jungle. In Riot's continued efforts to bring more diversity to the top lane, Jarvan's been given a little love. His passive will give his first auto attack more damage against targets, although the same target cooldown has been increased until level 13. Also, his W shield now costs significantly less mana, which will really help with his sustain in lane. Quick side note, Malphite received very similar changes. His passive shield will recharge more often at later levels, while his W buff also saw a large mana cost drop. As promised, Kassadin started seeing play again and was promptly nerfed. The shield on his Q has been crushed, to put it mildly. Absorbing less damage early game and even less damage late, it's clear that Riot felt they went too far with the previous Kassadin buffs. This is starting to get a little ridiculous, isn't it? From arguably the most broken champion in the game to a rework that made him fall off completely to buffs that pushed him over the edge again, and now the inevitable nerfs. How do you balance this champion? Riot, please. Kha'zix has been leaping out of the jungle and been giving everyone a headache lately. With the stealth, mobility, tankiness, and huge damage, the Void Reaver was widely considered the top jungler in the game. Instead of straight up nerfing his damage or durability, Riot went with some very interesting changes. To be considered isolated and give Kha'zix his bonus damage, enemy targets now need to be much further away from friendly targets. Combine that with the fact that turrets now count as allies in this context, and this could have a huge effect. Plus, the time between when Kha'zix can use the stealth recast on his ultimate has been doubled. Ouch. As we talked about on a previous episode, a nerf to Feral Flare has been in the cards for a while. It was an item that was picked up by junglers who wanted to farm and ignore everyone else on the map. Once it was fully powered up, they'd come out of the jungle and start melting faces. Needless to say, that's not the sort of passive playstyle that Riot want to encourage, and it's been significantly nerfed in all areas. This shouldn't hurt popular junglers too badly, but it might bring back utility champions like Zac and Nautilus. Finally for the patch, as we talked about last week, there were changes to trinkets, dragons, and turrets. The quick version is that trinkets now have a starting cooldown of 30 seconds, allowing much easier placement. An early dragon will give 100 more global gold, and the bottom turret is now as strong as the top lane turret. For more detailed analysis as well as Riot's reasoning behind these changes, check out last week's show. Riot's latest featured game mode is available for testing on the PvE right now, and spoiler alert, it's hilarious. One for All Mirror Mode is exactly what it sounds like. 10 of the same champion duking it out in a brawl fest on Howling Abyss. If you haven't downloaded the PvE yet, now might be the time. Like all featured game modes, we expect it to only be available on live servers for a limited time, but if it proves popular, it will make a return in the future. It should also be available as a custom game mode for Summoner's Rift outside of its Howling Abyss only queue. To quote Tolly7000 on Reddit, 10 Syndras, 200 balls, EU West disabled. Yeah, sounds about right. The chosen champion will be voted on by both teams, and interestingly, if you're feeling generous, you can throw down some RP for a battle boost. Don't worry, Riot aren't going the pay-to-win route, it's just an ability to unlock all available skins for yourself and your team for the match. The boost also gives you all an IP boost, which definitely adds some value. I wonder if that's something that we'll see added to the rest of the game. Kinda cool. Riot Pwip had some interesting words about why LeBlanc is a difficult champion to balance. When thinking about removing strong aspects of her, Riot are afraid of effectively removing what makes her so unique and interesting, and what makes her really fucking strong, as Pwip said. Back in the day, LeBlanc was thought to be really powerful early on, but dropped off later in the game. Nowadays, if she gets rolling early, then she either ends the game at 30 minutes or one-shots your carry at the 50-minute mark for the same effect. One suggestion Riot have considered is adding a delay on her W teleport snapback, and as happy as that might make her opponents, LeBlanc players would have their tiers fully stacked pretty quickly. How about removing her silence? Great, she dies instantly when she jumps in because she has next to no HP. Her entire kit screams burst and mobility, and as we've talked about time and again, that can easily lead to problematic balancing. Quip has promised that Riot really are looking heavily into LeBlanc. In the meantime, ban her, noobs. Riot Lima Beans has confirmed that a camera flip for Purple Side is incoming, although there's no ETA yet. Oh wait, this post was made 5 years ago. My bad. Awkward. Surely they're still working on it. Maybe we'll get that replay system first? Maybe? Just kidding? Holy necro, Batman. This thread got brought back from the dead this week and many jokes were made at Riot's expense. 5 years later though, do you guys think the Purple Side camera is a problem? Would you like to see a reversed camera? In theory, why not, right? But Riot obviously ran into some problems while working on it. Even though the complaints were never serious, many people aren't counting on this addition to the game. But let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Now I know everyone here is no stranger to the free-to-play game genre. After all, it's why most of us love League of Legends so much. Zero cost, zero risk, all reward. With that said though, if you guys want to help support LOL Nation TV, consider trying out World of Tanks. This free-to-play team-based MMO is action-packed with hundreds of unlockables and hours of content to experience. And just like League of Legends, it's totally free. One thing I can't stand about most free-to-play games is that they are pay-to-win. World of Tanks is not pay-to-win. Everything can be unlocked just by playing the game, which is great because it keeps us all on the same competitive playing field. World of Tanks is an amazing game with absolutely no risk to try, and if you try the game right now, you'll allow us to continue to make shows like Waypoint possible. To start your free trial and support LOL Nation TV, head on over to gboffer.com/tanks or simply click the link or banner that can be found below this video. And that does it for this week's episode of Waypoint. Be sure to check back every week for the latest League of Legends news. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment below and help us reach more people. And if you want more League of Legends content, recaps, and updates, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, LOL Nation TV. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitter at Lindsay Geektron. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next Waypoint.
Game Breaker TV.